What's up, everybody? It's Kevin with the Buffalo Commander. Week 1 is done. The Commanders played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and here we are. We lost. This is pretty familiar territory for Washington Redskins fans out there. Although I have to say, Ron Rivera, as horrible as he was, for some odd reason, he was actually 3-1 in Week 1 in the last 4 years. So, I think the saying is week 1 is a liar. Let's hope it's a liar. I want to believe it's a liar. So we shouldn't, come to any conclusions, solid conclusions after week 1. With all that said, we were terrible. I don't even think the score really shows how bad we were, really on both sides of the ball. I don't want to bury the lead. Jayden Daniels, he was the number 2 overall draft pick, number 1 pick for us, and for obvious reasons. I mean, we see how talented he is. Now, this was really my first chance to really, really see what everybody's been talking about. I'm not a huge college football fan, only NFL. I rely on what everybody else says, all the pundits, all the experts, all the people that really watch college football closely. And we've been told this guy's incredible. I think we see why. It doesn't mean I don't have really big concerns, probably more concerns than the average Redskins fan, to be honest with you. And that's for several reasons. The first thing is his overall demeanor. I'm not really impressed with his demeanor. I understand, I hear all the time, this dude's a competitor. He's so competitive. He wants to win. Maybe he's just super slick about it. To me, I see a guy that, he's more focused on how he's looking. He's chewing his mouthpiece. He's not even serious enough to put his helmet on completely. He doesn't seem concerned. I just thought I'd see a more pissed off, competitive guy. I didn't see that. I saw a lackadaisical guy that, don't get me wrong, he's flying around. He's making plays with his legs. But that was my first initial reaction. I could be totally wrong about that. I probably am. I just was really surprised in his overall demeanor because from what everybody says, he's such a competitor. I didn't see it. With that aside, just his play alone. I mean, this guy can definitely evade people. He's able to get away from any sort of pressure with ease. It doesn't even look hard for him. And I think I see the way in which he really doesn't need to get hurt because he's so quick about it. He doesn't put himself in those positions. Now, I will say he needs to learn how to slide. Apparently, he knows how to slide. I've heard a lot of people say that actually he didn't have any trouble sliding in college. Maybe he intentionally wants to go forward. I don't know. It's a little weird looking. He needs to actually strap in his helmet. I don't know what that's about. But we see the talent. The other big concern for me, I know it's just week 1. I know he's just wanting to get his feet wet. He had nerves probably, but I didn't really see any skill in the pocket yet. Everything was like, okay, let's get out of the pocket. And that's, typical quarterback rookie move, right? Is, I'm panicking a little bit. I'm going to start running. That he did a lot of that. So I want to see more progression. Are you moving everybody? Do you know where everybody is? Who are you hitting downfield? We didn't see any of that. He had the one shot to McLaurin. Great, runaway speed on McLaurin. We expect that from him. And Jayden didn't miss that pass. I really don't. That doesn't bother me. I think, again, from what we hear, he's an incredible deep pass kind of guy. So I don't think we need to worry about that. But he did miss that one. I want to see more middle of the field shots. He had a few, but they were really just short passes. He had a couple to Ertz, although I think he missed Zach Ertz a couple times. I think Ertz is going to be a great person for him to throw to when he's in trouble. I think we saw that. The other thing on offense is Brian Robinson. I love that dude, and I think even Dan Quinn has already said it this week coming up before this next game. They need to run the ball more. They need to give it to Brian Robinson. And Eckler is a great also second option pass catcher as well, although both of them are really good pass catchers. So I'm really excited about that. Okay, with that aside, defense is probably the biggest issue and the biggest surprise to all of us. We all know that our roster sucks, and it's going to take some time to build that roster. We know that. But I think the overall identity of the defense is what was so disappointing and shocking. especially because the coaches themselves just day one when Dan Quinn took the podium, he said, "What can we?" They asked, "What can we expect from the team?" And he said, "The defense is going to be violent. They're going to come with an identity of hitting hard, violent. And it's like we didn't see that at all. I mean, it was absolutely terrible. It's one thing to see that level of play where people are flying all over the place and you still get your butt kicked. Fine, that just means we need better talent. But we didn't see that at all. And in fact, what about that Bobby Wagner? This dude's a veteran. What about Jeremy Chin? This dude's a veteran. Bobby Wagner missed a bunch of tackles. Everybody looked terrible. Luvu, to some extent, he's not a veteran, but he's been around. And this is a guy that, again, everybody got excited about. And I got excited about all three of these players. It was horrendous. And you have to blame the coaches for that because, you're supposed to develop this culture. I hate that word because Ron used it all the time. And we don't see it. And we're expecting that. This is a full new regime. Did not see that at all. And what scares me the most is when we hear that and then it doesn't jive with what the message was, which is we're going to see this culture and violent hitting and, just physicality. For Dan Quinn, his response in the news conference after the game was, well, it takes some struggle to get your identity. That reminds me of Ron Rivera right there. And, where Ron's narrative changed every week depending on what happened on the field. He just spoke out of both sides of his mouth constantly. I hope that's not the case. I want to believe what he's saying and kind of go along with whatever this dumb cliche is that he's giving. But to me right now, I feel like Ron Rivera could be the head coach right now and it wouldn't be any different. And that's really disappointing to me. And I'm not excited. Now, it is week one. We're playing the Giants. We better see some differences that week two. The Giants are hoping for the same thing. They got their butt kicked the first week. It's almost like this is a get right game already week two where two bad teams are playing each other. They probably feel they can beat us. We better beat the Giants. The problem is Daniel Jones, probably the worst quarterback in the league, if not one of the worst. He has an incredible record against us. He's 5-1-1. And for some reason, he has our number. It's basically a push this game. I think we're slight favorites, but that's pretty bad if you're at home and you're just slight favorites over the New York Giants. This is just a territory I'm so tired of being in after 25 years. Let's beat these guys. Let's see some improvement. Let's stop putting Daniels in bad positions. Kingsbury, I hear this guy's great. We were told he's just such a genius. He's creative. We didn't see any of that. We saw, read options for Daniels to run it in the end zone when he has no business doing that. He could get hurt. And we got lucky that he didn't get hurt. Let's see some more creative plays. Let's see a lot of running. I want to see a lot more action and pre-motion. I want to see maybe some of that pistol in there. Guys cross routes. We didn't see anything. It was the most boring offense I've ever seen. And Daniels will run. We can't ask him not to run. He needs to run, but he needs to try to be a quarterback in the pocket first. And maybe it was some nerves, but let's see some improvement there too. So I know that's a lot. My overall take right now is I'm really down in the dumps, and I'm not optimistic at all. But I'm going to try to be, especially if we can beat the Giants, and it's a new day. So we'll see what happens. Take care, guys.